Listen, Jack, there is no stopping what is coming.
What's up, guys? Benny. Donald Trump just blew the doors off of the White House press briefing room, walking out and throwing onto the ground in front of all of the media proof of election fraud in 2020. And it was remarkable. One of the benefits of having a diseased and broken Joe Biden is that he often just straight up said what he thought. There was no lying left in him because you kind of got to be creative and have some energy to make up a lie. Joe Biden just said the truth, like in this clip when he said that we've created the biggest voter fraud mechanism in world history for the 2020 rigged election.
We have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
There you go. The most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of politics. And oh, by the way, it helped out Obama. Remember, this is how Obama got elected, and now you're going to elect me in the same way. How does that work exactly? Well, no shortage of clips like this.
The machines are similar to what we're currently using in that they are touchscreen.
Broken voter machines doing the opposite of what people wish to vote for and tabulating incorrectly who wins and who loses. There are hundreds of thousands of videos like this and demonstrations of how easy it is to hack these electronic voting machines. That is precisely what happened in the 2020 election, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard straight up said so.
I've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this. Election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Manipulate the tabulation of the votes. Tulsi Gabbard said it. They said they have found it. And President Trump, and just recently saying we must focus all of our energy and might on election fraud. Well, President Trump shocked the White House press reporter pool by ascending to the press dais and giving quite a lecture, like a 3-hour lecture on his accomplishments in the first term. This is, of course, January 20th, so this would be 1 year since Donald Trump was sworn in. And President Trump brought the receipts. I mean, he literally threw them in the faces of reporters. But he began by saying it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that. We caught them, and we caught them. President Trump out declaring this to the press and literally shoving it in their faces.
For legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country, and we jeopardize their case. When we send them back, and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. We caught him.
We caught him.
So I just want you to know that it's a terrible thing. Here's the book on accomplishments. And this is something, ooh, I'm glad my finger wasn't in that sucker. That could have done some damage, but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain. I would have gone back. What, did you hear that? That was nasty. But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off.
I would not have shown the pain.
I think somebody did that. I think it was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did. I know you didn't. So But here's the book. These are all things we have. I'm going to read a few of the samples, but look at this. These are all, each line is something that we did. Nobody did that before. And it's big stuff, too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world.
Bam. Trump literally throws the election fraud evidence in the faces of the reporter, literally, physically throws it, along with some of the accomplishment information. Does this have to do with the catching of Maduro? That's what we have often assumed, that President Trump's position on this is because Maduro was somebody who was running the election theft technology. There it is. Joe Biden did not win the election. It was rigged. We caught them. Alex Jones says Venezuela operation is set to be a lead up to Maduro making a deal for the election fraud and drug dealing. The Democrats, Pelosi's, and the Clintons and Bushes are all involved in it. Trust Alex Jones on these things, man. Caracas was a major CIA hub. Venezuela's home for election fraud. Venezuela and the Bush family built a vast drug empire together. Venezuela helped build Hezbollah. It's no coincidence that Maduro's regime fell and that Donald Trump brought it down. This is, of course, a fascinating thread by Emerald Robinson, who explains that it was the Venezuelan technology of Dominion voting systems, Smartmatic, that was signaled as one of the election theft organs for 2020, and that this was something that was targeted in 2024 and stopped. Now, we did a read on this, and it got did pretty well. About how what happens next is that Maduro, in order to save himself and his wife, which is why they took his wife. Why did they take his wife? They took his wife in order to have leverage on Maduro, that he's going to sing like a canary in order to avoid the death sentence here. And he's going to explain how Venezuela and China rigged elections. Now, as soon as Maduro was black-bagged by the special forces, Trump starts posting videos showing how election theft occurred and all of the testimony about the election theft. Dominion voting systems, the machines that told us that Joe Biden won Arizona. Don't you worry. Here you go. Look at that. 12,000 votes. 12,000 votes for Joe Biden in Arizona. Yeah, that's a guaranteed. Totally. There's nothing shady there at all. And Trump went on a rampage, posting video after video after video of testimony about true and empirical election fraud. And so what happens next? Well, as we've said, you got to show your work. The time of just like, believe me, bro, and moving it along, show your work. Maybe this is why Tulsi Gabbard's been so quiet recently. I'm not sure, but I'm saying that this is the big one. This is the one that we want to see. President Trump says, we caught him. President Trump says, we caught him. And we got him. It's talking about Venezuela here.
When we send them back and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way. It was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. We caught him.
We caught him. Like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we'll be on this story as we have been for years. It's your boy Benny. See ya.